from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you enjoyed the Grizzlies extending the winning streak over the weekend with a victory in Philadelphia. That was fun. Final score, Grizz 124, Sixers 107. After it was over, Joel Embiid, former MVP for Philadelphia, he nearly got into a fist fight with a columnist. It's a wild situation. Yeah. It's a wild situation. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. When we finish the opening segment, Michael Eaves going to join me right around 10:20. He, of course, is, among other things, a studio host for ESPN. You see him hosting Sports Center. He's going to be here in about 20 minutes. I'll talk with Michael Eaves in the next segment. When I finish with him, we'll turn our attention to the latest big story of football fans not knowing how to act at football games. The incident involved a douchebag bro and a Kelce brother. We'll show it to you in about 40 minutes. When we finish that, we'll take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know. Which one we're going to discuss. 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Ryan Silverfield's Tigers lost 44-36 this weekend at UTSA. So the season is officially a mess. Picked to win the AAC. Currently sitting in 4th with no realistic dreams to play in the conference championship game. We'll discuss that in about 60 minutes. Jerry Paul has published his updated projection for the college football playoff over at CBSSports.com. Tennessee back in there. I'll run you through it. We'll do that in just a bit. We got to do Dear Jane. Okay. It involves the election. It's timely. It's a timely Dear Jane.
It's a timely Dear Jane.
It's a timely Dear Jane. It involves the election and a sex ban. I'll leave it there for now.
Okay.
Tell you more about that in just a bit. Drake and DeMar DeRozan had an interaction this weekend during the Raptors-Kings game. That little master manipulator, habitual liar, tried to talk crazy to DeMar DeRozan. It sounds like they won't be making up after DeMar appeared in the Not Like Us video. I'll tell you about that situation a little later on in the show. And Penny Hardaway's Tigers, they're going to open their season tonight against Mizzouri inside FedEx Forum.
Oh, no wonder I couldn't find a parking space today.
Oh, Bennett.
I know. I can't talk either, apparently.
Well, it's a hard day of work when you can't park or talk.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you notice I was trying to do some voice clearing mechanisms like right before we came on?
I wasn't paying attention.
I was fighting through it.
I was over here.
I'll be good in like 10 minutes.
That's fine. I can get us through the first 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. I've done this before. I can get us through the first 10 minutes. The 2024-25 college basketball season is here. We're going to spend some time on that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. And then we'll eventually do GP's carry out and call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because Game 7 of a scheduled 82 was played this weekend in Philadelphia. It went well.
It did go well.
For the visitors. Final score, Grizz 124, Sixers 107. Jaren Jackson Jr., he was the star of the game. 4th pick of the 2018 NBA draft. He took 16 shots, made 11 of them. Finished with 27.6 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks in a season high 31 minutes on the court.
How about that?
Turns out playing your best players at least 30 minutes can be advantageous in the NBA. I don't mean to bore you with analytics, but I think what the data shows is that playing your best players as many minutes as possible is almost always going to be a smart decision. On Saturday, Jaren played 31, Ja played 31, season highs for both. The result was a 17-point victory over a franchise that has more problems than we have. I mean, you think you got problems. You ain't got the same kind of problems Philadelphia's got. Big Bet Bennett, did you see what happened after the Grizz humbled the Sixers this weekend because we got an incident in the locker room? Joel Embiid threatened and shoved a columnist. This is like Jeff Calkins versus Jason Williams times 30.
Oh, man. That one held the cake for a long time. It really did. I mean, that one was on like those like they would do. I remember there used to be like sports countdown shows and stuff like that, and they would have like the best moments between best press conference moments and stuff like that. That one was always on there. That one was always on there.
You see John Chaney and John Calipari going back and forth. That's going to be there. That's going to be there every time.
Yep.
But every once in a while, they give you a Jason Williams, Jeff Calkins right there.
Yes, they did.
This is a new one. So it all stems from a recent column by a fella named Marcus Hayes. He works for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Did you see this column when it was written, when it started this controversy last week?
So here's the thing is, after the game, I tweeted something like, I quote tweeted that story and was like, the Grizz are so bad, because it's like, we go in there and beat the crap out of them, and then it just starts blowing up in their locker room. Then I went and read the story, and I was like, ugh. How do you write this? I don't know how you write that.
So Marcus Hayes, a columnist at the Philadelphia Inquirer, and he wrote a column last week because, as you know, Joel Embiid hasn't played at all so far this season, has already announced to the world that he doesn't plan to play in back-to-back. The truth is, and this has been sort of his truth since he entered the NBA, he's got a damaged body. He ain't as healthy as you'd like him to be, as he would like to be. And this has been a big point of contention in Philadelphia. This guy earlier in the year signed a massive contract extension, and here he is once again not being able to do his job. So Marcus Hayes at the Philadelphia Inquirer, he decides he's going to tackle this topic, and he started a column last week this way. I'll just read it to you, and then we'll discuss. Joel Embiid consistently points to the birth of his son, Arthur, as the major inflection point in his basketball career. He often says that he wants to be great, to leave a legacy for the boy named after his little brother, who tragically died in an automobile accident when Embiid was in his first year as a 76er. Well, in order to be great at your job, you first have to show up for work. Embiid has been great at just the opposite. Now, in his 11th season, he consistently has been in poor condition. This poor conditioning apparently seems to have delayed his debut this season. It goes on from there. In fairness to Marcus Hayes, the criticism came pretty swiftly. There's got to be a better way to get into a Joel Embiid column than by mentioning his son and his dead little brother, whom his son is named after. There's got to be a better way to get into this column to make the point you're trying to make. Marcus Hayes, again, to his credit, seemed to realize this at some point and went back in, changed the column, and apologized on social media. But, it's a little bit like, once the toothpaste is out the tube, you ain't putting that back in. It is what it is. So you can change the column, and he should have. But what you initially wrote has already circulated. It's been screen grabbed. That's what Joel Embiid is upset about. Embiid had mentioned this last week in a press conference and said he has done too much for that city and played through too many injuries to be treated this way. He's not choosing not to work. He is not capable of working. And he had mentioned Marcus Hayes by name last week at this press conference, but Marcus Hayes was not in attendance for that. It appears the first time Joel Embiid and Marcus Hayes came face-to-face for the first time after that column was written was in the locker room after the Grizzlies defeated the Sixers on Saturday night. And there was an incident between them, verbal at first, but then, according to the reporting from people in the locker room, eyewitnesses, Joel Embiid did shove, not punch, but did shove the columnist. First things first, obviously you can't put your hands on a reporter. Not in the locker room, not anywhere else. Joel Embiid will be punished for this, and, I'm sure he'll accept it and understand it. But that is an awful column. An awful way to start it. A dumb way to start it, an insensitive way to start it. Criticizing a person for not playing basketball by bringing up the tragic death of their younger brother is insane. I don't understand how an editor didn't just go, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like this, you can make every point you're trying to make without bringing up the dead brother. What? Imagine if I were injured. Or more appropriately for my profession, too sick to do my job, which is all anybody is saying about Joel Embiid, by the way. He is more or less too sick or banged up or not in proper condition to do his job. Now imagine if I were too sick, banged up to do my job, and some columnist somewhere, for whatever reason, wrote that I was somehow letting my loved ones down by being too sick or too banged up to do my job. Like, what? Can you imagine me being too sick or injured to do my job? And some columnist writes, because my knees have been surgically repaired too often, or because I'm battling any number of things, that I'm somehow letting down my dead father or dead son. What? Like that's crossing a line.
Yeah, I just don't know what he was thinking.
I don't either.
I really don't.
I mean, I've written columns that I don't like in hindsight, and certainly had lines that I would take back. We've talked about this before as it pertains to a column I wrote about Penny Hardaway this offseason after he fired 4 more assistants, and there's an anonymous letter alleging all these violations, and I just sort of wrote, like, this is exhausting. The chaos never stops. And it'd be one thing if the success on the court was enough to make you not think about or care about the constant negative headlines away from the court. Like, if this were Kansas basketball, we could overlook some stuff. But it's not Kansas basketball. You've been to 2 NCAA tournaments in 6 years. You've won 1 NCAA tournament game. And I wrote in that column, there's a sentence in there that says, I was wrong. Meaning I, Gary Parrish, was wrong when I said Memphis should fire Tubby Smith and hire Penny Hardaway. And here's the truth. After I wrote it, I wanted to change it. I mean, I could have, but again, the point's the same. What's done is done. Once people have consumed the column, it's there. I can go back and change it, but it won't matter because those were my initial thoughts. Those words, they will live forever somewhere.
Yeah, I got you.
But I wish I wouldn't have done that, right? You know why? Because I don't think I was wrong. I don't actually think I was wrong. That was a moment where I was honestly sitting in an airport and trying to show some, I was trying to acknowledge some points, trying to give a little bit. Like, hey, if one of the things that I know people are going to say about this is you always think you're right, then how about I just say I was wrong? How about I just take that bullet out of your gun, just say it right now? That's what I was trying to do. It came from a good place, but I don't think I was wrong. I just think it hasn't gone well. I think it was a good idea. Firing Tubby Smith and hiring Penny Hardaway, I still to this day believe it was a good idea. And it actually accomplished a lot of the things I said it would accomplish and hoped it would accomplish initially. It's just become exhausting and chaotic. But I don't think I was wrong to suggest this is what Memphis should do. It's just that sometimes in life, all aspects of life, you can make sound decisions, have good ideas, and, sometimes they just don't go the way you want them to go. That is more or less, at least from my perspective, the Penny Hardaway era. As of this moment, a good idea that hasn't gone well. So in that column, I wish I wouldn't have written it the way I wrote it. I wish I would have done that part differently. But it's nothing like this. It'd be like if I just started bringing up Penny Hardaway. Imagine starting a column in 1 NCAA tournament victory in 6 years for Penny Hardaway. He must be letting his grandmother down. What are you talking about? So I don't blame Joel Embiid one bit for being hot. And I like that he didn't just lose his mind and snap. Clearly he'd been sitting on this for a little while, waiting for this opportunity to see this man face to face. Because did you hear what he said? He told the columnist, if you ever mention my dead brother again, I'll handle you and deal with the consequences. I love that. Because what that suggests to me is this isn't all just off the cuff, like he lost his mind. You see people all the time on the For You tab, they just lose their mind in a moment, and it's a fight or a gunshot or whatever. They just pop off. And I guarantee if you could talk to them the next day, they would say, I can't believe I did that. Like the young guy who just murdered his ex-girlfriend at Shelby Farms. I don't know what went into that. I guess we'll find out someday. But I can't imagine he's still sitting here a couple weeks later going yeah, I'm glad I did that. I bet you he's I just ruined my whole life because I snapped on a Saturday morning. I assume that's how he feels. That's how I would feel. Joel Embiid didn't snap the other night. He said, I've thought about this, and I'm still thinking about it, and I'm telling you, I know that I'm wrong. I know I can't do what I just did. But what I'm telling you is if you do that again, I will handle you, and I'll deal with any of the consequences. If I'm suspended, fined, arrested, if that's the cost, then it's a cost I'm willing to pay, right? That shows you how deep this cut him. This wasn't just, I'm going to lose my mind because I'm emotional. This is something that cut him to his core. I know every single thing Joel Embiid says or does hasn't been the most popular with NBA fans. I just fundamentally don't believe he's somebody who doesn't. This is what people say all the time. He don't want to play. I don't believe he doesn't want to play. I just don't believe basketball players don't want to play basketball. I think he is not in a position for whatever reason to play to the level at which he needs to play right now. Hopefully he'll get there and stay there, but I don't think it's simple as you don't want to play. And it's certainly not as anything of you're letting your dead brother down by not playing. Like that is some dots that should just never, ever be connected. And I don't blame Joel Embiid for popping off. He'll have to pay a price for it. He was wrong. But sometimes both these things can be true. You're wrong, but I understand. Shouldn't have done that, but I get it. That's what this was. Shouldn't have done that, but I get it. Michael Eaves up next.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
At Southland Casino Hotel, it's time to work hard, play hard with our $500,000 giveaway. Earn entries October through November 9th and take home free play and amazing prizes on select Saturdays, including a big rig. Stay connected on social media for weekly drawing clues. Join us November 9th for the grand finale drawing where you could drive off in a four-wheeler, side-by-side, or big rig. Work hard and play harder at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
The 3 big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
John Cena was spilling life lessons on this stream, bro. So the best thing I watched all week, John Cena on the Cassinet stream. By the way, he stole your hairdo. You got to make a phone call.
I was about to say, you showed me a little bit of this clip because I saw the messy room, and the only thing I could see is John Cena's hair. I mean, come on, bro.
He stole your bar.
It's
he stole
literally identical.
He stole your flow, bar for bar, word for word.
How is mine more gray than his, though?
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
If I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges. And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough studio, and on Mondays in the second segment, I'm joined by Michael Eaves, who is, of course, among other things, a studio host for ESPN. He's here right now. Michael Eaves, it's GP. How you doing?
I'm good, man. What's happening?
Everything's good in my world. I want to start with an incident that happened in Philadelphia over the weekend. After the Grizzlies defeated the Sixers, Joel Embiid did not play, but did have a confrontation with a local columnist from the Philadelphia Inquirer in the locker room where he reportedly, it was a verbal back and forth and then culminated with a shove. I think you and I can agree you can't put your hands on a reporter in a locker room or anywhere else. Joel Embiid crossed a line. He'll be punished for that. But that acknowledged, I understand that column. How did that get past editors?
Because we're in 2024 and everything's about clicks more than content, quite honestly. And you write something that can be controversial or attention grabbing or what have you. Unfortunately, the public eats that stuff up. We really do. And we live in a reality TV world, and it's all about drama, whether it's manufactured or real. And that kind of stuff sells. It does. Yes, Joel Embiid crossed the line, but so did Marcus, quite honestly, with what he wrote. And when you cross lines, sometimes you have to be prepared for what those ramifications may be, even if they can sometimes lead to a form of violence, right? Like if you write something that's kind of offline, you got to be prepared to deal with the consequences. I'm sure he didn't think going into the arena that evening that, a man of Joel Embiid's size would put his hands on him, but nonetheless, like I don't want to say the words, but it's FAFO, right? If you do it, sometimes you got to find out.
The one rule I sort of established for myself a long time ago is I always assume, and it almost never happens, I should say, but I always assume when I write this column, if the person this is about calls me and I got to talk to him, or I see him tomorrow face to face, how am I going to defend this? How am I going to rationalize this? How am I going to be able to stand my ground? And if I'm not comfortable with it, I don't write it. If I'm going to write a Michael Eaves column, before I write it, I have to be comfortable that if Michael Eaves calls me tonight and wants to talk about this, I can hold my own. We might not agree on it, but I can hold my own. If by the end of that conversation, I'm going to have to look at you, because I've done this before too, and say, Mike, I'm sorry, I was wrong, then I shouldn't write this column.
Right, and here's the deal. If you read that whole column, anyone who did, he could have written the exact same column without mentioning Joel Embiid's son or his deceased brother.
That's right.
He literally could have, right? So if you want to be critical about things, fine. And that was Joel's point, actually, during this verbal confrontation. You can say whatever you want about me as it relates to on the court and things of that nature, but, keep my dead brother's name out your mouth, right? And that's as simple as that, because what was the purpose of that other than to grab attention and to bring up something that, yes, is a part of his life, but it's not part of his knee situation. It has nothing to do with how he's playing basketball right now, or not playing for that matter. So it was just completely unnecessary. And now, Joel Embiid's probably going to get suspended for it, because from a league standpoint, yes, you cannot do that. You can't put hands on people regardless of how angry you may be or how justified you may be in your anger.
back to wherever this thing goes, in Philadelphia, they still got a Joel Embiid issue. Like, he's not healthy. He's on a big contract. He's only 30 years old, but his body has just been through it, dating back to his time at Kansas. Is this just always the way it's going to be until he retires?
Seemingly, because that's all we've seen. And that's unfortunate for him, considering the absolute talent that he is. But after this many years of playing basketball, and now you playing it in, the top basketball league in the world that has access to some of the best medical personnel and innovations possible, and it still hasn't got better, why would you think it ever would? Like what would have to happen for all of a sudden his body to be able to play 82 games? And here's the thing that kind of baffles me, Gary, and it's not just about Joel Embiid. Paul George hasn't played either. He's missed quite a few games during his NBA career. You have the situation with Kawhi Leonard there in Los Angeles, and it's just all across the league. I just don't understand how dudes can't play 80 games anymore. Like, that was always the standard back in the day. Like, if you didn't play, something was seriously wrong. And I'm not advocating for anyone to play through injuries whatsoever, but I don't know if the grade for what an injury is has gotten lower, and because the guys are making so much money, teams are fearful that if they let them play through a nick here or a soreness here, they could lead to something more devastating, and they don't get the return on their contract. I don't know what it is, but I do know one thing. Guys are not playing nearly the amount of basketball they did a generation ago or even 15 years ago, right? And I don't understand why that is so prevalent.
I don't understand it either. We talked about it just last week because the Grizz lost a game at home to Brooklyn, which is something you're never supposed to do. And they did it while John Morant and Jaren Jackson were on the bench in the fourth quarter for 4 or 5 minute stretch. Neither one of them played even 28 or 29 minutes in that game. And you're exactly right. It's a real problem for the NBA when your players are not only showing with their actions, but verbalizing the regular season doesn't matter enough for me to push it the way people in previous generations pushed it, because I'm sure you've just seen this story. There's been a breakdown of television ratings and everything else for the NBA so far this season, and it's not great. And I can't help but think, it is true that we all like to follow the NBA. Everybody follows the NBA. But when your stars are telling you and showing you we don't think the games matter that much until the playoffs, well, then it's not a surprise that the fans are saying, well, then I don't know that I'll watch until the playoffs.
Well, see, here's the thing. It's a cycle that's sort of feeding itself, but I don't know where the feeding began.
Right.
Okay? Because in truth, the regular season games matter to a degree, but they don't matter ultimately. And my point has always been this. If a team wins a championship or they get to the NBA Finals, a fan will not know how many games one of the star players missed during the regular season. Okay, that is factual. But that does not mean that those other games do not matter in terms of, your route to the playoffs themselves, but also to the overall fabric of the game, right? Like, Michael Jordan became a star because he played every game. He went to every city and he put on the same show. Same thing with Magic and Bird, and you go through all Allen Iverson, all the other guys. Those guys went out there and played, and they played hard all the time. But I don't know, again, if it was the players who started this. Quite frankly, though, Gary, I believe it was some of the teams that really started this. And now if you're these current generation of players, you have come up in that culture, right? So if you have been told this is how we're doing it, you become indoctrinated to whatever you believe that culture is that says, I don't have to play all the games this year. I can sit out. We've seen it with Zion Williamson, right? Some of the biggest stars that come into the league all of a sudden weren't out there as much as we wanted to see them as fans. And that becomes their expectation. It's an 82-game schedule. But for Zion Williamson or Joel Embiid or Paul George or other names I'm using as examples, if they play 65 games, they think that's a great season. You missed 17 games, dog. Like, why? Why are you missing 17 games?
Well, it's the same thing in baseball. A great starting pitcher used to throw 130, 140 pitchers, would have 11 complete games, and now – you wouldn't even get a chance. Paul Skeens will never even get a chance to have 10 complete games in a season. They won't allow him to do it, even if he can't do it. Why? I don't understand it.
The only way he would do it if he took 10 no-hitters to the ninth inning.
Yes.
That's it, right? And I'm with you, because what changed that enabled these guys not to be able to do this when all the medical stuff is way better than it was 15, 20 years ago?
Right.
I mean, Nolan Ryan was out there throwing 140 pitches a game at 40 years old.
Right.
So I just don't – look, and this might be the old man in me, get off my lawn, but it's not – I literally want to know why. Like, what has happened from a physical standpoint and a medical standpoint that prevents athletes from doing what they did a generation ago?
Well, listen, this could be us talking about the good old days on some level. But here's the thing. I've actually asked this question to people who should be able to answer it. Like, make me understand. I'm not saying you're ridiculous. I'm saying I don't understand it. So just explain it to me. And they can't. They can't show you the work. Like, if this were 5th grade and your teacher was like, all right, I understand your opinion, but prove it to me. They don't.
Show me how you got there.
They can't prove it to you. They can't prove it to you. Yeah.
So why keep doing it? Like, who's been the greatest example of being overworked to injuries? I don't know who that is. Right. Injuries happen. They do. I mean, Michael Jordan broke his foot his 2nd year in the league. He came back and he was fine. Like, injuries do happen, but they're so afraid of them that they set the athletes seemingly for repeated injuries and then the expectation that they don't have to play full season.
It's a complicated situation that they got to figure out at some point. Switching gears, talking to Michael Eaves here from ESPN. Another Saturday and Sunday full of football games. Another Saturday and Sunday of football fans fighting. And I'm not even talking about the Jason Kelce situation, which I'll get to later. I'm not exaggerating. Every weekend, there are men and women fist fighting at football games to the point where my producer, who is a diehard football fan, told me recently he would be hesitant to take his young children to a football game just because it can get violent. Is this an issue that football is going to have to tackle head on at some point, for lack of a better phrase? Because you can't get to a point where people don't want to go to your events because they're worried that they might be involved in some wild stuff.
Now, let me say this. It happens in other sports as well.
Sure.
The difference with football, though, is the tailgating atmosphere, right? So you're adding way more alcohol into it. And when you add alcohol to any type of environment, inhibitions get lowered. And when inhibitions get lowered, your fear factor goes out. So you're not necessarily afraid of getting to an altercation. You're not necessarily afraid of saying something to someone that you've never met before or know anything about their background and think, oh, this dude can actually fight. I don't want to be messing with him. That's the issue with football specifically. It's just way too much alcohol before the games start. And for whatever reason, and I guess it's part of the passion and kind of like why we love sports, is that so many fans they identify part of the personality with the teams they root for, right? And so they defend those teams and those players as if they were members of their family. But my point is, what's the beef? Like, what are you literally defending here? Like, oh, our coach is better than yours, or your defense is terrible. Y'all gonna fight over that? That's what I don't understand. Like, you're fighting over something that doesn't matter and will ultimately be proved on the field if you just sit there and shut up and watch what happens. You're gonna find out who has the best team. But they're literally gonna play right in front of you, but you want to argue about it to a point where it becomes violent. It doesn't make any sense. It's never made sense to me as a former, athlete growing up. I mean, there was a fight in the stands of one of my high school games one time. Yeah. Like, what are we doing? I just don't understand, bro.
Reports from the weekend that Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods have helped get a possible deal between Live Golf and the PGA Tour, to the 1 yard line. It sounds like we're really close to getting this thing resolved. Do you have a sense yet, as a golf fan, what that's going to look like?
I do not, and I will say I saw that same report you referenced there, and some of it didn't quite make sense to me because I can't see Live as currently branded and currently managed playing any events under the umbrella of the PGA Tour. Okay, and that's what that report said. So that to me doesn't make any sense. Now, could there be a way back for some of those players to compete in some PGA Tour events? Yes, but that's completely different than Live operating under the PGA Tour umbrella. But ultimately, what was going to happen was the PGA Tour was going to take some money from the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. How much money were they going to take, and what would the PIF get in exchange for that money? That's always been the sticking point. And then the secondary aspect of that is those Live golfers being able to compete again against PGA Tour players, and what happens to the Live League itself? Those things were secondary to the money itself and the investment from PIF. So having said that, I do believe there will be some way that we're going to see the Bryson DeChambeaus and the Brooks Koepkas and the John Rahms and the Cameron Smiths playing against PGA Tour players again, whether it's in official PGA Tour events or the World Golf Classics, whatever. Those guys will end up playing more than just 4 tournaments a year, which happen to be the major.
Last thing before I let you go, the college basketball season is now officially underway. Two schools Two schools nobody cares about are playing in Indianapolis right now. Your Kentucky Wildcats tip off 6 o'clock Central tonight, I believe, against Wright State. You excited about the Mark Pope era getting underway?
Hope is hope.
There you go.
That's what we got. That's what we got for Kentucky, because the way this whole thing played out, we didn't expect Mark Pope to be our coach this year, but here we are. He's a tremendous human being. He's shown some really good basketball acumen. His teams at BYU competed. They even beat Kansas last year. He's working on his recruiting class. So that is the hope as a Kentucky fan that you have to take into the season, that one of our own is going to get us back past the first and second round of the NCAA tournament. I will say this. That, to me, obviously, is the most interesting team of the year because I'm a Kentucky fan. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens there in Memphis.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, look, Penny was suspended there for 3 games, I believe it was. He's fired all his coaching staff. NCAA tournament, maybe 2 out of 5, 6 years?
2 out of 6. 2 out of 6.
Right? I mean, look, Penny's family, that's his home. But at the same time, Memphis expected more than what he's provided so far. To be fair, he's expected more than what he's produced so far. So that, to me, is a very interesting watch for college basketball. What's going to happen there in Memphis?
It's a big season for Penny, big season for the Tigers. That will get underway tonight inside FedEx Forum, Memphis and Mizzouri. Michael Eaves, you can watch him on SportsCenter. Follow him on X at Michael Eaves. That's at Michael Eaves. I appreciate your time. Go Big Blue. Good luck tonight.
Go Cats.
All right. Bye-bye. Michael Eaves from ESPN. When we come back, we'll turn our attention to that Jason Kelce situation. Former NFL lineman, future Hall of Famer, brother of Travis Kelce, was at the Penn State-Ohio State game. And as he's walking in, obviously he's drawing a crowd. He's a huge celebrity now, television star. Way more famous today than he was at any point when he actually played football because of, his brother's relationship, but also his podcast and his television career. So he's walking into the game, and there's a crowd following him, lots of cameras on him, and somebody decided to yell some really ridiculous stuff at him. Jason Kelce took offense. We'll show you what happened next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
If I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up JustinTimberlake.com.
How much have you added weight since you were here?
Bro, I think I was like 220?
Rookie, you were
40 pounds.
You
I'm
were
like 265.
You 265 right now?
In between that and like 273, I'm floating in there.
You have looked at a scale and it said 273.
With shoes on, but still.
Too little.
That's not phone posits either, right?
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The 3 big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
Crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
John Cena was spilling life lessons on this stream, bro. So the best thing I watched all week, John Cena on the Cassinet stream. By the way, he stole your hairdo. You got to make a phone call.
I was about to say, you showed me a little bit of this clip because I saw the messy room, and the only thing I could see is John Cena's hair. I mean, come on, bro.
He stole your bar.
It's
he stole
literally identical.
He stole your flow, bar for bar, word for word.
How is mine more gray than his, though?
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
You know, we got to talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie has inked that contract, and he is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you've got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Big viral moment from sports over the weekend. That came at Penn State, Ohio State. Jason Kelce, who was just trying to work. You know, he's just work. He retired from football, but he ain't retired. He's still working.
Yep.
He's an analyst.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere.
Yep.
And he was at the Penn State, Ohio State game this weekend. And he's walking in, and a crowd starts to develop because Jason Kelce is a big star. I said going into the break, he is now a bigger star than he ever was while playing football. You agree with that, don't you?
Yeah, well, one, because offensive linemen, like you just don't get the notoriety that you necessarily do at
You ready for
other
this?
positions.
If you would have just randomly asked me 3 years ago, who's Jason Kelce? I might not have been able to tell you that. And he was an all-pro offense, like lineman, the whole deal.
Yeah.
And I might not have known. But now everybody in the world knows who Jason Kelce is, right? Much more famous today.
For
than
sure.
me. He's a real star. You ready for this? He's on a cereal box in my pantry right now.
What cereal?
It's a combination of cereals.
Oh.
It's the Kelce box. The Kelce combo.
Oh.
So, we were in Kroger. My kids, grabbed it. This is why that kind of stuff, actually matters.
You see the picture. Yeah. It's
I buy so much stuff strictly because my kids, it's visually something like a Prime bottle with Kevin Durant on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's a new Kevin Durant Prime bottle, we got to go find that. That's important. So they come up to me. I got my shopping cart. I'm driving my shopping cart around, and they come up. They say, "Dad, can we get this?" And I always just say yes, because what is the point in arguing about cereal? You're right.
Yeah.
And I looked at it.
$4.
What am I going to do? Argue about cereal? I got other things to argue about. And it's got Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce.
Okay.
And I don't know. I thought about this and I never looked it up. I bet you it's something like that. I bet you on their podcast at some point, just randomly talking the way you and I are talking about Ghost Toast Kit Kats or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you at some point one of them said, "Remember when we were kids and we used to take all the cereals and mix them together?"
Yeah.
And they were laughing about that. And then immediately one of the cereal companies.
Kellogg's.
Kellogg's is like, get them on the phone.
Yeah.
And now it's just like it's like 5 different cereals all poured into one. And he's on a cereal box is what I'm trying to tell you. This is a famous guy. All right. So he's walking presumably to the stadium. And he got, most people are being cool. Look, it's Jason Kelce. Look, it's Jason Kelce. Oh, look, can I get a picture of Jason Kelce? And then this one fella, he's walking right behind Jason Kelce, and he yells very loudly, "Kelce!" We can't show you the audio or let you hear the audio because it's got words.
I think
in
we
there.
got a bleeped version.
Yeah, let's show. Do we?
Yeah, there it is.
So you see what's going on here.
That phone.
Bam. Now I'm going to take this phone with me. So you might go, "Oh my God, what did that guy say to Jason Kelce to make him grab his phone and throw it down?" Because you don't see that every day. He said, Kelce, how does it feel that your brother is a F-word, gay slur?
Mm-hmm.
You know the word.
I know the word, yes.
For dating Taylor Swift. Hey, Kelce, how does it feel that your brother is a gay slur for dating Taylor Swift? Kind of weird to call somebody a gay slur for, you know.
It doesn't make sense.
I think
get
a
what you're
man
saying.
like
Yeah.
Travis Kelce dating Taylor Swift is like the opposite of gay. It's hetero.
That's accurate.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
So kind of a weird, either way. I don't think anybody's mad at Jason Kelce.
Hell no.
Even though Jason Kelce damaged this man's property and this is the problem, turned right back around and said, who's the F word now? Who's the F word now?
Yeah, I mean,
so he'll have to apologize for that at some point.
He'll have to
right? He'll say, I
apologize
shouldn't
for it.
have used
Yeah,
that
I don't.
word.
I
But,
don't
like,
think he was in the
don't-
wrong at
but,
all. Though.
But you ready? I don't even think actual people who would be offended by Jason Kelce using that word in different set of circumstances. I don't even think those people are against Jason Kelce today.
No. I think everyone's on his side in this, and I am all for publicly shaming these people that try to go viral by doing stupid shit like this.
You know what I'm for? I'm not for violence. I want to be clear about that.
And breaking their phones.
I'm not out here advocating violence. I want to be clear about that. All right? But when I see violence erupt after a situation like that, I'm not advocating for it. But if I'm being honest with you, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
If Jason Kelce would have smashed that guy's phone and then put his fist through his face, I would not have minded it.
Oh, it was so satisfying too, watching the guy's reaction to his phone getting broken. Like he, for a second thought that he was going to try to bow up to Jason Kelce, and then you could see him catching himself.
I'm about to die.
What are you going to do?
You know what? I'll take it a step further. If that were my son, and Jason Kelce would have put his fist through his face, you know what? I would go to the hospital and tell my son,
Why'd you do that?
You brought that on yourself.
Yeah.
What have I ever done to make you think it's okay to run up on a person? Forget a famous person, a person. And oh, by the way, you wouldn't even do this to a normal person. You would only do it to a famous person because you are trying to go viral. Like the guy's holding his phone, he's doing his best to get a moment. First off, why would you even want that moment? What would you do with that? Presumably, you're a college student. Presumably, if you're in college, you're doing it because you want to get a good job someday.
Yeah.
How does this video help you in any way whatsoever?
I think just I did stupid stuff in college. I think, and this was before going viral, I guess, was as big as it is now. I think in the moment, if you're that dude, you're just thinking, my buddies are going to get a laugh out of this. This is going to be hilarious.
Who are your buddies?
I know.
If you were my son and you said that to me, I would say, you need to get new buddies then. If you have buddies who think that's cool or funny or anything, you have terrible buddies.
But then, you don't think about the this dude is going viral for all the wrong reasons. You're just a douche. The whole country thinks you're a douche.
Nobody thinks you're funny.
Right.
Nobody thinks you're cool. Everybody just thinks what's wrong with you?
Yeah, you talk about regrets. I guarantee you that dude today is God, I wish I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, he'll say drink too much or whatever. But you should be able to drink a lot and not run up to Jason Kelce and call his brother a gay slur for dating Taylor Swift. I drink a lot
Me
sometimes.
too.
It never occurs to me to do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that. All right. I don't understand how we got to I don't understand a lot that's going on in this world.
I don't understand a lot going on either.
This whole thing's it's a confusing time.
Yeah.
I don't understand hardly anything
is a confusing time.
That's happening in this world right now. None of this makes sense to me. All right? But among the things that don't make any sense to me is that we reach the point as a society where somebody thinks, I can probably do this and it won't get me knocked out. I'm not advocating violence. I'm just saying if I would have watched that thing unfold exactly like that and it would have culminated with Jason Kelce putting his fist all the way down this guy's throat, knocking his teeth completely out, I'd have been like...
I did want to see that.
I'd have been like, you know what? You did that to yourself?
Yeah.
You did that to...
That would have been so satisfying ending to the
other one I
video.
see, these little pranksters. You see these every once in a while?
I see the little pranksters out there.
I don't like them.
I mean,
I saw one the other day. There's a guy, they're waiting at baggage claim in the airport, right? And like the whole prank is going to be, we're going to just go grab somebody's bag right before they're about to grab it, and just start walking out like it's mine. And then we'll see them freak out and ha ha ha. How funny is this? That's not funny. What is funny about grabbing my suitcase? All right, and then you see these every once in a while. Somebody will be like, "Yo," and like get physical with them, and they'll be like, "I'm just joking, man. I'm just playing around." Yeah, this is not playing around.
Right.
All right. Don't grab my stuff. Again, you can grab my stuff because I'm a nonviolent person. I'm probably not going to hit you.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not tough enough to do that. Plus, I don't want to deal with the consequences. Plus, I don't have much confidence in my ability to fight. I don't think I will be good at it. So for a lot of different reasons, grab my luggage. I'm probably not going to fight you. All right. But I don't mind if somebody else does.
Yeah.
And if I had somebody with me, I would want them to fight you. Like if I had me a enforcer, like if I had me a Jacob Fatu, like if you tried to grab my luggage, I would stick Jacob Fatu on you.
I do think that the phone smash is a really clutch move. Like I thought that like just being in the moment like that, I thought that was a really good reaction from Jason Kelce. Probably the best reaction you could have in that situation, because you don't want to like get in trouble for assault, like for punching someone, especially. Will
he be charged with a crime?
No, I actually saw people, I follow my Twitter lawyers sometimes. Yeah. And I saw a lot of people saying that he's going to have to buy this kid a new phone.
You know what I would say if I were Jason Kelce? I swear to God, this is what I would do. I would say, I am not buying him anything. I'm not giving him a penny. Charge me with a crime.
Yeah, right.
Let's take
this thing.
Let's take it all the way to the end.
And make sure he's there at the trial with the camera on his face.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's take it all the way to the end.
Right.
I don't even know how this stuff works. Do I get a trial by jury?
Yeah.
I bet you can't find a jury who's going to convict me.
Right.
You're going to convict me for getting mad. Oh, and showing restraint. Keep in mind, he could have killed this guy.
Yeah.
He could have beat him to a pulp. He showed restraint. All right? I bet you're not going to be able to find a jury that can convict me for being upset after a stranger trying to go viral called my brother a gay slur and insulted probably the most popular woman in the world. Convict me. And you know what? What's the worst case scenario? You got to do 2 weeks in jail? Fine, I'll do 2 weeks in jail. I'll do 2 weeks in jail before I give that guy a penny. You ready?
I like it.
I'll do 2 weeks in jail before I give that guy anything. Let's play it all the way out. I hope that's what he does. And I hope this is
I don't think anything will happen. I think that this is it. Like I don't think anything.
I would say charge that guy for like whatever you could.
Yeah.
Charge him for her public harassment. I don't know. There's got to be something somewhere you could charge him with.
Yeah.
Charge that guy. I'll co-sign
that dude.
I'll co-sign that.
Yeah, me too.
People need to learn how to act.
They do. Again, like that was satisfying. I'd like to think that if I ever got in a situation like that my first move would just be to grab the phone and just break it.
You got a little Jason Kelce in you.
It was, it's a good move. I like it. Like I'm kind of, I hope this starts a movement. I want to see more people like this get their phone broken.
I wouldn't mind seeing a phone get broken every once in a while myself.
Yeah, it was a satisfying video.
What do you think? How do you think you get to a point where you think you can do that to somebody? Think about this.
Like Michael Eaves said, tailgating. You're tailgating for 4 hours and you're wasted.
I could be as wasted as I could be, and I would never do that.
Right.
All right.
Try to step up to NFL offensive lineman. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that either.
How ashamed would you be if that were your son?
I would be mad. Yeah. I would be mad.
What did I teach you to? I know I ain't a perfect parent, but I can't possibly have done anything to make you think it's okay to yell that at Jason Kelce or anybody else.
Right.
It's crazy out there.
I think it's going to be a wild week, dude. I think it's going to be a pretty insane week. Don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild week.
Yeah, I'm expecting a wild week.
Yeah. All right.
I'm expecting a wild week. It is crazy. Like, if you turn on the news, it doesn't even seem real.
I know.
Like, this shit doesn't even seem like it's real life.
I know.
Like, it is banana. Like, I don't think the average American properly understands how bananas this is.
I don't either.
It is.
It'll be over soon.
That could mean a lot of different things.
It'll all be over soon.
That could mean a A lot of different things.
Yeah.
Ryan Silverfield's Tigers. Oh, man. They went down to San Antonio and lost a football game. Why did they do that? That's not something I would have advised if you're trying to play in an AAC championship game. Much less the college football playoff. Can't lose to Navy and UTSA and then think you're going to go play in a college football playoff. So season's not over. They still got games on the schedule, but your dreams are over. Your dreams are over.
Yeah.
It's time to wake up. Your dreams are over. We'll talk Memphis football next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
If I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up JustinTimberlake.com.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Somebody else we have not seen in a long time is Morant. Since you've seen him, does he look any different to you, or is this the same superstar Ja that we were used to?
He's always getting better, so you just got to watch out for that. That's.
And it's a revenge tour. Yeah. It's a revenge tour, like hey, the world's forgotten about me. And
I don't think they forgot.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Dinosaur draft.
Give me Littlefoot.
Littlefoot's a great pick
It
in your
is.
alternate
Damn
reality.
right.
in your fake dinosaur draft because
I'm
you don't
sorry.
believe in real
I'm sorry.
dinosaurs. Give me a velociraptor. It's so cute and so scary.
That's
I'm
not
sorry.
a real velociraptor.
That's not a chicken.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The 3 big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
Crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the academies covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
You know, we got to talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie has inked that contract, and he is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
John Cena was spilling life lessons on this stream, bro. So the best thing I watched all week, John Cena on the Cassinet stream. By the way, he stole your hairdo. You got to make a phone call.
I was about to say, you showed me a little bit of this clip because I saw the messy room, and the only thing I could see is John Cena's hair. I mean, come on, bro.
He stole your bar.
It's
he stole
literally identical.
He stole your flow, bar for bar, word for word.
How is mine more gray than his, though?
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Final score down in San Antonio.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
UTSA 44, Memphis 36. The Tigers dropped to 7-2 overall, 3-2 in the American. Your AAC title game hopes, probably done. Your college football playoff hopes, definitely done. Big Bet Bennett. What are we going to do now?
Everything about that was gross. Dude, I just...
what are we going to do now?
I think they gave up, let's see, I think it was 30 straight points to something like that to UTSA.
Well, they are Roadrunners.
Apparently so.
How are you supposed to slow down Roadrunners? Bennett, before you get critical, let me ask you a question. How are you supposed to slow down Roadrunners?
With the Acme Dynamite.
You ever watch cartoons?
Yeah.
How often did the Roadrunner get slowed down?
Very rarely, if ever.
So
yeah,
understand that before you talk.
Yeah, I got you. They are, yeah, they're very fast. Or at least they were on Saturday.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I just don't know what else to say other than it just sucks. Like, this is... you go from, think about like what we would be talking about today if they would have won that game, because Navy goes on the road and loses at Rice.
I'd be laying out all the scenarios for you.
Yeah, like the college football playoff is still very much like
it's opening up, Bennett. That's what I'm telling you. It's opening up, Bennett.
Yeah,
it's opening up.
And
I see a path opening up.
Look, I think it's like unfair. I don't think anybody, when the season started, was saying it's college football playoff or bust for Memphis football. No, it was just this is the most realistic path that they had ever had to being able to be a part of the college football playoff.
That's true.
But I do think that the bar was definitely getting to a conference championship because this league is just not good. You look at how much money they put into their football program and NIL. They have a better roster than most of the teams in this league. And so you would expect with a senior quarterback to be able to play for a conference championship. Doesn't look like that's going to happen this year. And I think that if it doesn't, that's a disappointing season. Now, granted, we always say, and I have for the past couple of years, like winning seasons at Memphis football, like that should always be celebrated. And I think we have done that, but it has changed.
Yeah, I don't agree with
because the league has changed. That's the biggest thing, right?
Yes, of course. It's
like you should easily walk into 7 wins in this league. You know,
you and I could coach that team to 7 wins.
Yeah.
Given the resources that they have relative to the rest of their league. UTSA's coach just last week was talking about we ain't even in the same world as Memphis.
That adds to the
when it comes to NIL.
To it all.
We know that there's no men's basketball program in the same world as Penny's program in NIL. All right?
Right.
This is the problem with being in a league like this. If you ain't actually you think you're too good for it. I agree. But like if you ain't actually showing it on the field, but it's a bad place to be. Remember when we were talking about the new Pac-12 and you had some otherwise sensible people making points like this. Well, the reason you don't move is because the AAC will provide an easier path to the college football playoff than the new Pac-12, the implication being that the new Pac-12 will be more challenging. So they just take my argument and flip it. I was saying you got to go because you got to get into a better league. And other people are saying you can't go because you don't want to get into a better league when you have a path to the college football playoff right here and it's easier. The problem with that approach is always this. It's a solid plan up until you can't beat Navy and UTSA.
Right.
Then you're just stuck in a shit league.
It's so true.
That you can't win. I'd rather be in a great... Guess what? Put Memphis Football in the SEC. They'll probably never win it. I'd love to be there, though. Right?
Exactly.
All right? I'd love to be there because, it's just better in a million different ways. Staying in an inferior league because of the idea that maybe it'll provide an easier path to something you've never actually done seems like a wild miscalculation on my end. Because now look, congratulations, you're in your easier path league, but you ain't getting there. And how many people showing up for Rice on Friday?
No, that's the problem. What you just said is, and it's why I've been was screaming to do the Pac-12 thing, because one loss to UTSA completely wrecks your season. It wrecks your season, and that sucks. It shouldn't be that way where one loss just completely changes the narrative about the whole season. It shouldn't be like that.
And it changes the entire narrative about Ryan Silverfield too. I can give you all the numbers that I'm seeing people, highlight on social media. Record against 500 teams on the road, all this stuff. I've it's not good. Mm-hmm. Think about where he was, let's just say on the morning of September 21st, a little more than a month ago. You're undefeated, headed to Navy, in position to not only play for your conference championship game, but maybe go to the college football playoff. You do back-to-back 10-win seasons with, big accomplishments. That's how you end up with the Florida job. Mm-hmm. All right? Well, you can't end up with the Florida job getting your brains beat in by UTSA and Navy. So it changes his narratives and changes possibly his career and by extension life. You'll get so many opportunities to pop it. And it was right there sitting for him. Big jobs are going to open. And he had a team, a roster that out-talented just about everybody, if not everybody in the league. Again, this team was picked to win the AAC.
Yes.
All right? And now you're sitting in fourth place. And just whatever momentum might have existed or could have been created, it's just, you won't, none of that. It's all over. Yeah. Nobody will care about another. You ready for that? I don't mean to be harsh, but here's what I believe is the truth. Outside of the diehards who would live in Tiger Lane if you'd let them, there's nothing you're going to do the rest of the season that's going to matter to anybody here. Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, if I think if you're looking up in 2 weeks and have a chance, if certain things break your way, but it just doesn't look like that Tulane game I'm talking about. Maybe if this team loses and that team loses and you beat Tulane, I think people will be tuned in. But I just don't see that happening at this point. Yeah.
I saw some people debating this because obviously Tiger basketball is coming off of a disappointing season, and Tiger football is now enduring a disappointing season. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying this is a criticism, because I think at the end of the day, if you go back and review the tapes, clearly I was on board with hire Penny Hardaway. I think I got to the point where I was on board hire Ron Silverfield. This is the guy you should hire. I think I got there. So I can't be critical. What were they doing? Yeah. They were doing what I said to do, But I have thought about this before. Is there another athletic department in the country that thinks of itself the way Memphis thinks of itself? Of whatever you think you're supposed to be, that's what you think of yourself? Who has a football coach and a basketball coach who had never been a head coach at any other college campus ever before they were the head coach on yours. In Penny's case, had never even worked on a college campus. In Ryan's case, had never even been a coordinator. Where else does that happen?
It's fair.
I bet you. I'm sure there's somewhere here, somewhere there, but it's not normal to have two first-time head coaches running programs of this magnitude. Like when Memphis lost its previous coach, it hired a Big 12 head coach from Texas Tech University, right? I know on the football side it had been assistants, but even like Mike Norvell was a coordinator at a Pac-12 school. You know, it's just, they were wildly inexperienced relative to the jobs that they were getting when they took those jobs. I'm not even saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's something that's unusual. And I think in a league like this, with the resources you have, as a Memphis football coach and a Memphis men's basketball coach, you're just going to win at a certain level just because it's almost impossible not to. You're competing with schools that it's guns and knife fights, right? It's bringing a knife to a gunfight. These other schools got knives, you got all the guns. So you're just going to win at a certain level no matter what, because your roster is just going to be better than most rosters in your league every year as long as you're in this conference. But you know, the coaching stuff still does matter. And you're not just going to be able to out-talent everybody all the time. At some point, you got to do the job. And there's a track record under Ryan where he will consistently beat the teams that are just outmanned. But every once in a while, slip up and lose one of these, and typically lose to teams where you can't overwhelm them with talent. And then with Penny, I mean, it's just the numbers are the numbers. I've said it a million times. It's just a fact. No coach in my lifetime of that men's basketball program has accomplished less when given this much time. Nobody. So it's in a bad place right now.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that, you know, going forward, I mean, I think it was true this season. I think it's true for the seasons going forward. Like, as long as you're in this league, the bar should be playing for a conference championship. It just should for both programs. Right. Again, if you're going to put this much money and resources into both programs, that should be the bar.
Broadly speaking, and then we'll move on, Memphis is not the Dodgers or the Yankees. Alabama is the Dodgers or the Yankees. Ohio State's the Dodgers or the Yankees. But in this league, just strictly in this league, you are the Dodgers. You are the Yankees. When they start throwing payroll graphics up during the World Series, and it's like Yankees. That if they did it for the AAC in football or men's basketball, you'd be right at the top. You're supposed to be the Dodgers or the Yankees, but you're not acting like it on the field.
Number 2.
Jerry Palm has updated his college football playoff projections after another weekend of games. And Tennessee is in there sitting as the 11 seed, just sneaking in with a projected first-round game against Texas down in Austin.
Oh, that'd be kind of fun. That's actually a really good.
Be awesome.
That's a good game, yeah.
Like, I think we've known for a while the college football playoff is going to be, awesome. Because it just, it's postseason football. The real big brands and games mean something. It's just the best. But it's like every week I go through these and I just sort of look at these matchups. Based on current projections, this is what we would get in the first round. Boise State, that would be your group of 5 representative. Could have been you, Tigers. Could have been you. Boise State playing Oregon State in the first round. Penn State, Alabama. Texas, Tennessee, BYU, Notre Dame. It's not Oregon State. It's a typo here. It's Oregon against Boise State. The Ducks. Oregon as the 5 seed. That makes sense to you?
Seems a little low.
I mean, they're 9-0 and ranked number 1 in the AP poll.
Seems a little low. And I guess he's assuming a loss is going to be happening.
I guess he's
these next
projecting
few weeks.
that somewhere, but buddy, I ain't seen nothing that makes me think they're about to.
I know
they beating everybody's brains in, best I can tell. So Oregon as the 5 seed against Boise State. Your top 4 seeds would be Georgia, Ohio State, Iowa, Miami, and Iowa State. That's Jerry Palm's latest college football bowl projections.
I mean, that's anybody that ever argued about doing this. Just you got to feel dumb. Like, look at that's awesome. Everybody's gonna watch the hell out of all those games.
Alabama, like your first round games are Alabama, Penn State, Boise State, Oregon, Notre Dame, BYU, Texas, Tennessee, and then that feeds into the main bracket there.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Awesome. Congrats to the Vols for sneaking back in. That game, if it were to happen, would be scheduled for either December 20th or December 21st.
Number 3.
We got a new Dear Jane.
Okay, what's up, Jane?
It's timely because it involves the election.
Okay, great.
Married couple.
Oh boy,
it's a fella writing in. He's a guy. Mm-hmm. Not usually the way it works. Usually it's women writing.
Yeah, it's usually
women write into Dear Jane, and that's not to be deemed sexist. It's just a fact.
No, it's just
fact. Normally, when I read you a Dear Jane, it comes from the perspective of the woman.
Yeah.
But today we get a letter from a man. Here's what he wrote to Jane. He said, "Dear Jane, tell me how you'd handle this, Bennett. We'll talk through it. First, let me set the deal for you."
Okay.
He said, "Dear Jane, my wife and I have been together for 3 years and married for just over 1. We have a lot in common, except when it comes to politics. We live in Pennsylvania, so we know plenty of Democrats and Republicans and everything in between. I enjoy having a broad range of friends, regardless of where they fall on the political spectrum. I've always known that my wife is liberal, but it has never really been an issue, mostly because we met soon after the last election. Donald Trump had disappeared, and she was content with a Biden presidency, but I have been an avid Trump supporter since he ran in 2016. When it became clear that Trump would be a Republican nominee this time around, the political differences between us started to show. We see eye to eye in most situations, but when it comes to Trump, she is extremely set in her ways. She constantly says how much she hates him whenever he's on the news and repeatedly asks me how I could possibly support him. We had to turn off the debate between Trump and Kamala Harris halfway through because we couldn't stop arguing. I don't think our marriage would have survived a second debate. So, as the election approaches, we've decided to stop talking about politics altogether. We've stopped watching the news when we're both at home. We don't discuss what we are reading. This new dynamic was working quite well until this week when my wife declared the morning after a particularly steamy bedroom session the night before, she will put me on a sex ban if I vote for Trump. She says that because the Pennsylvania race is so tight, my vote alone could change the whole outcome of the election, and she refuses to have sex with me unless I vote for Kamala Harris, or not at all. Obviously, I'm not going to vote for Harris. I'm desperate for a second Trump presidency, but I also couldn't live without our sex life. How can I explain to my wife that I can't change my beliefs so easily from a lonely Trumper? Bennett, what do you think?
I think
you ever been put on a sex ban?
No, never have.
You ever been threatened with one?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
It's never been brought to my attention.
It's not a bad way to get your way.
Sex bans?
Yeah, I mean, like if I was this guy, my advice would be, buddy.
You would put her on a sex ban?
No, I'm saying he might have to change his vote.
You disregard your beliefs so easily just for sex.
Well, what's he gonna do? Just never do it with his wife again?
I don't believe she'd actually hold him to a sex ban. I'd call her bluff. I'd say I don't believe you can implement a sex ban. I don't think you're strong enough.
Okay.
I don't think you're strong enough.
I mean, my vote could be swayed.
You could
pretty easily.
You would vote for anybody if a sex ban was a possible punishment.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe, Bennett says.
Yeah,
maybe.
But now,
is it appropriate?
Hold on. The other thing too, that I don't live in Pennsylvania, so like my vote does not matter as much as that guy's vote. That's actually they're in a weird spot.
Okay,
because that's I believe they call it a swing state.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania's a swing state.
Swing state. It's a swing state.
It's a big deal.
Okay. I know that practically you can change your vote or not vote at all, and it almost certainly will not matter. It won't alter the outcome of the election, and you get to keep banging your wife. All right,
Mm-hmm.
So I get that. All right? Except I don't think I'd like somebody telling me what to do.
Yeah, I get that too.
I think rather than think about it practically, like, oh my God, I'm not going to get to ever have sex again if I vote for Kamala Harris. And my vote, I live in Mississippi, so my vote isn't going to change anything. So might as well just vote for Trump or not vote at all, and keep enjoying life. right? Except I don't want you telling me what to do. And I don't want you threatening me with a six-band. I'll threaten you with a six-band.
It is kind of, I mean, it's a bit childish on his wife's part.
Yeah, like, if my wife tried to threaten me with a six-band over the election?
It's a little too far.
Yeah, I think you're wrong. How about, I'm not wrong for not conforming with you.
Yeah.
I think you're wrong for threatening me.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I'm siding with the Trump guy here. I think his wife's out of line.
I think she might be too.
But here's the problem. They got bigger problems.
Yeah, dude. They need couples therapy.
That's if
this is sick.
If this is a symptom of a larger problem.
Mm-hmm.
Do you and your wife think similarly on issues?
Yes.
But not all.
Not all.
Not completely.
She tends to.
She would never storm the Capitol. Let's start there.
Correct. She would never. Yeah, she tends to lean a little more.
She's a little more left than you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like she's for women's rights in ways that you don't care about.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. No. But our overlying views, yes, we tend to believe the same. Yes.
And sometimes, and I apologize because I think sometimes I talk to you like, "Hey Bennett, it's crazy," and you're like, "Yeah," and it's like you might not think everything that I think is crazy, right? You don't have to agree with everything I say,
right?
But like, could you be in a marriage with somebody? Could you be in that marriage? The marriage I just described between these two people. They clearly feel very strongly about two very different candidates. And I think, honestly, like, I don't get into the whole, like, democracy at stake stuff. Like, you know, because I don't think that scares anybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Like, he's Hitler. Like, that doesn't work. Like, if
no,
you're trying,
that is so dumb.
Like,
and honestly, was a horrible.
Like, it's just not. It's just not effective. It's not an effective strategy. The whole
beat your opponent with good policy is my opinion.
Well, no, I'm just saying you're not convincing anybody of that. You're not changing anybody's mind. The people who are walking around with Trump signs, they don't think he's Hitler, and you're not going to convince them of it.
Right.
Even if he is. You ready for that? Even if he is, you can't convince them of it.
For sure.
All right? The whole democracy is at stake. Nobody actually believes that. I'm not telling you you're wrong if you say it. I say all the same stuff you say. I'm just saying nobody believes that. Because you said the same thing the previous two elections, right? And, like, you know, my yard still looks exactly the same. My neighborhood still looks exactly the same. My jobs are still pretty much the same. Like, you know. So I stopped short of all that because I just don't think it's effective. Not because I don't believe it necessarily, just because I don't think it's effective. The other one that drives me crazy that I think the left uses way more than it should, the whole Project 2025. Because they have already consistently, this is the one thing they're consistent with, they say that's not our thing. And it doesn't matter if they'll really adopt it. You can't convince anybody now that if people already think that's not a big deal, you keep saying it out loud is not going to make anybody think it's a big deal, right? So I just think there's some missteps all the time with the way my side talks about that guy. Let me be clear. I think he's a horrible human being. Horrible. Like, embarrassing. But I don't think you win anybody over by labeling him the way so many try to. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it doesn't work. Clearly, it doesn't work. Look around. It doesn't work. Name one person in your family you've ever convinced by using those types of terms. It's not helpful. These people are coming at it from different angles passionately. Could you be in that marriage? I don't think I could be in that marriage.
No, I don't. Like I said, like me, you know, I think that there's a lot of very happy marriages where people vote differently. Like, I think me and my wife would probably tend to usually vote along the same lines. But I think there's plenty of marriages out there that vote differently and that are living super happy marriages. But when it's like you said, when it's really contentious like that,
when it's the main thing on both of your minds,
yeah,
you got problems.
Yeah.
I can be friends with somebody who votes differently than me. I can work with people who vote differently than me. I can play golf with people who vote differently than me. I don't know that I could lay down every night with somebody who is like, these two people and these two things that are very different. Like, you're subscribing to something if you subscribe to one side or the other. You're subscribing to some real stuff. And I think one's way more complicated and weird than the other.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd be comfortable. I can hang out with you and but lay down with you every night, act like I don't think you're crazy for getting caught up in this. I don't know that I could do that.
So our solution to this, dear Jane, is they should get a divorce.
I don't. Hey, how about this? My prediction is that they will get a divorce. And you ready? It won't be over this. It'll be over something else. These two people are too different to be together every day.
I don't like our solution, but it seems like it's what we've landed on.
Yeah.
I don't like saying, oh, y'all should just get a divorce, but I think it's what we've landed on.
That'd be a hard thing. I don't like, my wife and I don't have to agree on everything, but just broadly speaking, our core values are similar. Like, we care about the same stuff, and we're turned off by the same things, or like, when you hear. Like, my wife is quite literally somebody who was advised once to terminate a pregnancy. And if that happened in year 2024, we wouldn't be in a position to make the type of choice one way or another that we were in a position to make once upon a time. Like, this is something that really weighs on her, and yet she has friends that she works with and sees every single day, and they don't consume that information the exact same way, or it doesn't sit with them the exact same way. And it's like, these are weird. Like, these are weird times for everybody, man. It's a weird deal. Have you lost any friends over politics?
Hell no.
Family members?
No. Not like, again, everything is so much more polarizing now because we see more of what people think in the social media era. But like, dude, growing up, like, friends, family, like people that believed completely different things, and everybody just got along just fine. Yeah, like it's everything's so much more in your face now.
It's because of social media and cable news. You realize if in the absence of social media, we wouldn't even know what to be mad about. You wouldn't even know what to be mad about.
Right.
All these people that are all mad all the time about stuff, they wouldn't even know what to be mad about. Because half the time they don't even know what they're talking about. I say that as respectfully as I can say it, but like, I mean, I hear some of my wife's friends talking to her, and they think they know what they're talking about. I just sit by quietly. I'm not trying to argue with anybody. I don't care enough. But like, I just listen to people all the time. They just don't know what they're talking about. They're just wrong. They're just misguided or misinformed. Just a weird time.
Yeah.
I look forward to more normal times.
But yeah, I think to put a bow on it, that they should get a divorce.
I think they will get a divorce. I don't think they should. I don't care. I don't know these people. I think they will. And I see somebody in the chat, then we'll move on, saying it is possible for two people that love each other to vote differently. That, of course, that I literally.
We just said that.
I just said that. Fuck. Now, these people drive me crazy. Like, when I mentioned, like, some of the dumbest people on the planet are in this chat every single day.
Stop it.
Of course, you could vote differently and still love somebody. I don't know that you can have strong feelings. Let me be clear about the two sides in this election and actually have a great relationship the way a husband and a wife or any two people are supposed to have. I think it's very hard in these times because I'll stop short of all the democracy at stake and all that other stuff. But like, these are two vastly different. This isn't John McCain, Barack Obama type situation. These are two vastly different things headed down paths, and we'll see which one our country jumps on. I'd say tomorrow, but we probably won't know for a little while.
Number 4.
Drake and DeMar DeRozan came face-to-face in Toronto this weekend as DeMar DeRozan, member of the Sacramento Kings, returned to Toronto, where he once starred. They were retiring Vince Carter's jersey.
That was cool.
He deserves that.
Yep.
He's a real legend. And Drake was on the broadcast. Jumped on with the, television crew, and he said, if you ever hang a DeMar DeRozan jersey, I'll climb up there and bring it down myself. And cameras seemed to pick up Drake looking at DeMar DeRozan and calling him the P word. DeMar DeRozan was asked about it afterwards. He sort of laughed it off. But if you're Drake, look at him there. Are you really in any position to be talking wild to anybody, including DeMar DeRozan?
Well, I mean, that looks like someone was talking under his breath.
Considering you took the biggest beatdown of 2024, I think if you're Drake, you gotta First off, he's just not the smartest guy in the world. Let me tell you why. First off, he picked a fight with a Pulitzer Prize winner. Let's start there. Secondly, why are you bringing up Not Like Us? You go on the Toronto Raptors broadcast. Them dudes ain't going to bring up Not Like Us. They're praying it doesn't come on in the arena. I bet it's banned in that arena.
Probably.
I bet that song will be played in 29 arenas this year. Not that one, all right? Nobody's going to bring it up. It's the elephant in the room. People feel sorry for you on some level. You got beat down so bad. Why are you bringing it up? Because then when you bring it up, that's when it goes viral. Now everybody's like, well, what's he talking about? Then we got to tell you what he's talking. This is the way these stories, you know how Google works? Why are Drake and DeMar DeRozan beefing? Oh, DeMar DeRozan sided with Kendrick Lamar because he's from Compton. Why would you bring up your biggest embarrassment of your life? He ain't the smartest guy in the world.
Doesn't seem like it.
And if you were DeMar, like it's so easy if you're DeMar DeRozan in this back and forth. Like, I don't even understand how Drake thinks he can argue with anybody right now. Because don't you just look at him and no matter what he says, we call you the P word. You can just say, you better not ever go to cell block 1. Just, no matter what he says. And oh, you're OV ho. I just quote lyrics back to him that Kendrick said. What's he going to do? What can you do to that when somebody's just looking right at you and calling you OV ho? How do you respond?
It's tough.
It's a tough situation,
That's
Bennett.
tough.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I think Drake should just zip his lips for a minute.
I think he should too.
Maybe never bring up Not Like Us again, because if you don't bring it up, at least people in Toronto won't bring it up, and then we're not talking about it on a Monday again. Come on, man. You need an advisor.
Number 5.
Tiger basketball back in action tonight.
Let's
the season
go.
starts inside
Let's
FedEx
go.
Forum. The Missouri Tigers are in town. It's the Battle Tigers.
I got my 1 cent hoodie on.
It's the
Let's
Tigers.
get it.
It's the Tigers against the Tigers inside FedEx Forum. You optimistic?
Yeah.
4.5 point favorites tonight.
Yeah, I am optimistic. I'm excited. I'm excited to play like some good games early on in the season too. Like that's a lot of fun. Like we're jumping right into this thing.
A good game against a team that went 0-18 in the SEC last season.
Yeah, well, against a brand. I'm glad we're not.
It's a
playing,
real life university.
Yeah,
yeah. You're not playing
Houston Baptist.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Memphis does it a little inverted, where they get most of their big games in November, December, because the conference schedule gives you nothing. Whereas, like if you're a Big 12, Big 10 school, you play, Howard tonight, so that you can get some wins before you get into your conference schedule, where it's just one quad one opportunity after another. But Memphis doesn't get those in its conference, so you got to try to create a schedule to get an at-large resume in the non-conference portion of November and December. What do you think the crowd looks like tonight? I have no context. I'm not real sure.
I don't know. It's a Monday night. It's kind of weird to kick off a season on a Monday night. It's just, I wish college, we've talked about this before. I just wish college basketball would do it differently. It just feels like the sport does not do a good job of kicking off their season with a bang at all.
No. And I don't know that Memphis basketball has done a good job of just making us aware of who these people are. Vernon sent us in the group text this morning an Instagram post of it was Memphis, Mizzouri tonight, season gets underway, and it had a picture of a player, and none of us recognized who it was. You realize if they'd have put a picture of John Grice or Anthony Rice up, we'd have been like, that's Anthony Rice. And now it's the current Tigers, and you don't know who they are. And this one's me and Vernon. We work in sports media in Memphis.
That's true.
And we don't know these people. And I don't know that, if we don't know these people, your average Memphian doesn't know these people. Doesn't mean that it can't change. Go out and start the season 7-0, get some big wins, and, everybody will be on board. But that's the type of thing, I don't mean start 7-0, but they need to get off to a good start because Memphis basketball is still such a part of the DNA in this market that if they get good, people will latch on very quickly and get excited very quickly. It happened early last season.
Yes, it did.
But I don't feel like people are excited right now. You're going to have to do something other than just be Memphis basketball get people excited.
I think this game goes a long way. If you win tonight, it's okay, they beat a real brand. Let's go. Let's get this thing going. Because then you play a crap team next, and then you're not that far away from Maui, and where you play UConn and are going to play some huge brands.
Yeah. Don't take a bad loss until you get to Maui, and then see if you can pop off off and do something.
That's
how you get people to care.
Yeah, if you could be close to undefeated going to Maui, then you're really cooking. Yeah.
Memphis, Mizzouri tonight, 7 o'clock tip. You'll be able to watch it if you're not inside FedEx Forum on ESPN Plus. Be back in a second.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
How much have you added weight since your rookie year?
Bro, I think I was like 20?
Your rookie, you were
40 pounds.
You
I'm
were
like 265.
You 265 right now?
In between that and like 273, I'm floating in there.
You have looked at a scale and it said 273.
With shoes on, but still.
Too little.
That's not phone posits either, right?
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
At Southland Casino Hotel, it's time to work hard, play hard with our $500,000 giveaway. Earn entries October through November 9th and take home free play and amazing prizes on select Saturdays, including a big rig. Stay connected on social media for weekly drawing clues. Join us November 9th for the grand finale drawing where you could drive off in a four-wheeler, side-by-side, or big rig. Work hard and play harder at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Dinosaur draft.
Give me Littlefoot.
Littlefoot's a great pick
It
in your
is,
alternate
damn
reality.
right.
in your fake dinosaur draft because
I'm
you don't
sorry.
believe in real
I'm sorry.
dinosaurs. Give me a velociraptor. It's so cute and so scary.
That's
I'm
not a
sorry.
real
That's not a
velociraptor.
chicken.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
The three big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
Crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
John Cena was spilling life lessons on this stream, bro. So the best thing I watched all week, John Cena on the Cassinet stream. By the way, he stole your hairdo. You got to make a phone call.
I was about to say, you showed me a little bit of this clip because I saw the messy room, and the only thing I could see is John Cena's hair. I mean, come on, bro.
He stole your bar.
It's
he stole
literally identical.
He stole your flow, bar for bar, word for word.
How is mine more gray than his, though?
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built for Tough studio. Some breaking news this morning. The world of the NBA. Greg Popovich taking an indefinite leave of absence from the San Antonio Spurs for medical reasons. Exact condition not disclosed. Say he's okay, but he just needs to rest.
Okay.
He had a medical incident. That's as vaguely as they've described it. A medical incident before Saturday's game, and did not coach. And this morning, the team has announced that he's going to step away for an indefinite period of time. 75 years old. So I guess it's the type of thing that starts to happen to you when you get to a certain age. Obviously, he's an all-time great. And honestly, I'm a little surprised he's still coaching at 75, particularly coaching a rebuilding situation in San Antonio. I never assumed, without knowing Greg Popovich, I just didn't assume somebody who has accomplished everything he's accomplished at this age would want to go through all the bad stuff that comes hand in hand with losing way more in the NBA over an 82-game schedule than you would like to. But he seems to have found real joy in, trying to develop the young guys, bring around Victor Wembanyama. But, at some point, 75 is 75. And this is why age in the election, frankly, was such a big topic of conversation at one point. Not sure why it's no longer a big topic of conversation, but it certainly was at one point. And it's based on the idea that when you get to a certain age, your body or your mind tells you can't do the things that you used to do. You can't think as quickly as you used to think. And sometimes you just can't even physically do the job. And on some level, Greg Popovich seems to have gotten there. No indication that this is the end. Again, they said he's okay, but just needs rest. But, just you never want to see an all-time great have any sort of medical concerns, but that's not realistic, I don't guess. So thoughts with Greg Popovich and the Spurs organization. There's countless stories about him being on the road, including here in Memphis, and just quietly having, big gestures. And there's the one thing that went viral a few years ago where he left a pretty significant tip, like hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars, for a server at one of the steakhouses downtown. The Spurs were just in town. He took his staff out to dinner and just very quietly, hey, I can make somebody's day just by putting an extra zero on this tip line. So I guess that's what I'll do. Like, there's a bunch of stories like that with him. So you never like to hear anything like this connected to him or anybody else. So get well soon, Greg Popovich. Hope to see you on the sideline again in the very near future. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Dinosaur draft.
Give me Littlefoot.
Littlefoot's a great pick
It
in your
is.
alternate
Damn
reality.
right.
in your fake dinosaur draft because
I'm
you don't
sorry.
believe in real
I'm sorry.
dinosaurs. Give me a velociraptor. It's so cute and so scary.
That's
I'm
not
sorry.
a real velociraptor.
That's not a chicken.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We have not talked to you since we got the big fella that's going to go next to you. What has impressed you about him, though? Just being on the same court with him, because you've watched him a lot in college. You got to see him. We got to see him very, very little in summer league.
Very quick twitch, decision making. Yeah. No real fear of anything. Like, very vocal, able to talk through the game. But I mean, like, dude won Player of the Year twice. Like,
I know.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You know, we got to talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie has inked that contract. He is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Justin Timberlake. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
The three big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
Crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the academies covering, again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Looks like a pleasant day outside. FedEx Forum. I went for a little walk this morning, Bennett. I got off the Jessica Benson show. Went for a little walk this morning.
Nice.
Around downtown
Little
Memphis.
downtown stroll.
Yeah, just sometimes you need to get your steps in, you know?
Dude, it was crazy. You know, it's kind of windy outside today.
I like it.
Bro, I was so scared I was going to lose power yesterday.
Oh, Ben.
I heard transformers blowing up like all over my neighborhood.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Mine didn't blow.
Okay.
Well, our transformer's like right in our backyard too. So when that thing blows, it's gonna scare the hell out of my family.
What does a transformer look like, you think?
What do you mean? It's like a
that-
cylinder, it's on top of
I know this sounds dumb, but like when you say my transformer's gonna blow,
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture that. I don't even know what that looks like.
I wonder if we can see one from like out. No, I don't.
I don't know what a transformer looks like.
It's just like that big metal cylinder that's on top of like a pole, like with the cables coming out of it, going to people's homes.
I don't know about that. I don't think I see those.
Yeah. So
let me ask you another question while I got you
Yeah, what's
here.
up? What you got?
The other day, my wife asked me. She said, "Our hot water heater is like we've noticed the hot water's not lasting as long as it used to." And she asked me, she looked me right in my face like she doesn't know me. And she said, "Did you do something to the hot water heater?" And I said, "What would I do to the hot water heater?" She's like, "Well, the hot water's not staying as hot as it used to." I said, yeah, I know that. And she's like, "Well, did you do something to it?" And I was like, what would I do to it? What do you think I would do? So if your wife asked you to do something to the hot water heater, what would you do? Is there something I could do?
Dude, I mean,
I don't even know where my hot water heater
might
is.
have something to do with your pilot light. I think that's a good. That's something that like.
Where would I find my pilot light?
I don't know.
Can you come over today?
That's something that like if somebody said that to me like and I was trying to sound smart and know what I'm talking, I'd be like, "Could you check your pilot light?"
Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
But that could be your issue.
Could you come over today? What are you
No,
doing?
I don't know what I'm doing. I tried my my dryer's broken. It's not. And I've tried to watch like YouTube tutorials on how to fix the heating element and
when
stuff.
things break at my house, they are broken until we get somebody there.
Yeah.
Who can handle it.
It's tough.
The idea that I'm going to do something. I looked at her like she was. She might as well ask me to go to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you go in there and tinker with the hot water heater? I don't even know where our hot water heater is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know where to find it.
Be careful, that thing might be about to bust.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, you need to get somebody on that.
I don't know that I need to be tinkering with anything. I don't know how to do anything. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know either. Good luck, though.
Yeah. Good luck.
Check that pilot light.
Good luck with
Check
your
that
transfer.
pilot
I'm going to
light.
look at my pilot light when I get home. I
Yeah.
guess that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do GP's carryout.
Okay.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
Whole bunch of stuff, but let me hit you with a quote I just saw from Jonah Dillon. He's at the Ryan Silverfield press conference.
Okay.
I don't know the context. I'm not going to.
Oh, boy.
I don't know the context, right?
Yep.
So he could be saying it from a sincere place. But here's the quote. I think the tone matters. I need to hear it with my own ears before I can tell you, before I can make fun of it or not. But the quote is, I get it. 7-2 is not good enough. Do you think he's saying 7-2 is not good enough? 7-2 is not good enough. Or do you think he's saying, I get it. 7-2 is not good enough, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to hear it. No, I think Ryan understands. Like, he knows that he knew after that game that's a bad loss for us.
Because there are some coaches out there who I guarantee you would be 7-2, and they would be like,
"What do you want?"
So you're telling me 7-2 is not good enough? Oh, I get that. And so you'd be saying it in sort of in that like, hey, I get it. 7-2 is not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
You say it that way, I want to go, yo, have you lost? 7-2 is not good enough, bro. It's just not. You're supposed to win the league. You're not supposed to lose to UTSA. This is not good enough. But if he's just like, hey, I understand the frustration. 7-2 at this place against this schedule, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
If he's saying it sincerely, I agree with him. If he's saying it in a way to sort of swat aside the criticism, then I think he's.
Like if Ohio State went out and lost to Purdue, Ohio State fans would say that's not good enough.
Of course not.
You know, if they're one loss on their schedule or whatever, like Ohio State is 4-1. If they were 4 or they're 7-1. If they were 7-2, if Ohio State was 7-2, but one of the losses was to Purdue, people would be like, "That's not good enough."
I hope the way he meant it is, I understand why the fans are upset because this is not good enough. I hope he meant it that way. Until I hear otherwise, I'm just going to assume that he did.
What's today's biggest game?
Monday Night Football. Bucks and Chiefs. We're in Kansas City. Taylor Swift. Who knows if she'll be there, but she does have a habit of showing up at games in Kansas City. The Chiefs are 9-point favorites. Bucks enter 4-4. Chiefs 7-0. 3-0 at home. Totals 45.5. Kickoff a little after 7 on ESPN ABC. How you going to act?
I think I'm going to take the Bucks. I think I'm going to take the Bucks to cover. Baker's been awesome. I know they're missing guys. Obviously, they're missing like their 2 star receivers, but he still has played well without them. I think they keep it close tonight.
Tampa Bay +9. That's the play, according to Bennett.
What are we watching on TV?
Eye on College Basketball podcast will be live on CBS Sports Network. That's channel 221, DirecTV. We're doing that in about an hour, so I got to rush home. So check that out if you get a chance. DirecTV, channel 221, CBS Sports Network, 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern. It'll be me and Matt Norlander for an hour. So turn that on, and we'll get you ready for the college basketball season.
What's the best thing we've read?
I updated the top 25 and 1 over at CBSSports.com. One final preseason update. It published this morning. It's on the homepage. Kansas is number 1, as has been the case throughout the offseason. I got rid of Xavier because of an injury, got rid of Providence because of an injury. I have replaced them with Ole Miss and St. John's. Ole Miss now 25th in the top 25 and 1.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Tuesday. We'll look back at Grizz Nets, look back at Monday Night Football, look back at Tigers and the Mizzouri Tigers. Should be a fun show. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. Be back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.